And we're live. How's everybody doing today? I wasn't sure that anybody would make it here today because of the holiday weekend and everything. Glad you did. Hopefully, we can keep you busy on your holiday weekend. Maybe you're driving home. You're not too Christmas yet. Maybe you're working Christmas. I'm going to be working Christmas. I'm going to head out tomorrow on a long trip, be gone for a week or so. So maybe we'll do some live stream activities and keep everybody occupied over the holiday. Here, I got to silence my phone. Should know better than to do that. So anyway, there's this young gentleman that's been hanging around, making an appearance every now and then, and we get to talking. We know each other, and yesterday we got to going over his numbers, and I'm like, hey, you need to share this with everybody and tell everybody how you did this. Maybe some encouragement or whatever. So let's bring on this young feller here. His name is Justin. Justin, what's going on?
What is going on, everybody?
Mm. So brought you in today. Uh, we don't care about feelings. We like to tell the truth. If anybody gets their feelings hurt, hey, I'm sorry, but just want to put it out there, and maybe it'll some people will find it encouraging that you can in fact do good in this market. So, your name is Justin. You're fairly young. You've been an owner operator for about 2 years now, right?
About
Two
two
and a
years,
half.
almost 2 years actually. Let's see, this February will be 2 years. This upcoming February.
Okay, so take us back to 2 years ago. So that would be about this time in 2021-ish, right around
Yep,
this time. So
exactly.
we were still equipment was still a little bit high. We were still on some of that COVID pricing for equipment and rates. What were things like when you started, and how'd you get into it? We don't really need to go back to your history as a company driver. We just want to start here and your
Yeah,
journey through these first 2 years.
yeah. So when we first got in it, um, gosh, the money was. It's almost like as if you couldn't go wrong. You know what I mean? It was a no-brainer decision. At the time when I was starting, I did Amazon. I got leased on with a carrier as a power-only unit. Um, and at the time I thought that I had overpaid, but I guess it was relative to the market as far as what we paid for a truck, um, compared to what we were making on, a weekly settlement. So it made sense to get in it. Granted, those rates did not last very long. They only lasted for about 3 to 4 months, which I recognized based on, some of the education I was getting from watching you and watching Cash and a couple other people, that this was a market that was going to end eventually. So it was like, hey, let's take advantage of this and let's utilize the amount of freight and the amount of money that we were making at the time to
What
capitalize and put ourselves in a good position for the future.
what were you doing when you first started? What kind of freight? What kind of operation?
Amazon. It was purely Amazon. Um, just doing anywhere from 2 to 4 week contracts that were just out and back, coming out of Boise, and I would just go to the Northwestern, pretty much out and back, home every other day, and the money was good.
Leased onto a carrier
I was
or
I was leased on
individual?
I was leased onto a carrier at the time, at a 70-30 split. Um, I was not dispatching myself at first, and then eventually I did.
Fate Trucking with a $10 super chat. Appreciate that. He says backwards hat hashtag Fate Trucking did it first.
Strong.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody might say different. CJ Hudson throwing darts right away. Justin on a live hashtag Cash did it first. Let me tell you about that. The only reason Cash got him first, I had him first. I just didn't get him on in time. We've been planning this for a while. Cash did it to teach me a lesson of get your work done. So
Mhm.
here we are doing it my way. But anyway, so Amazon up till about when? When
About January of this year, December, January of this year is, actually, I take that back. I switched carriers in January of this year, but I continued doing Amazon until about April of this year, and then we switched up the freight.
okay. What was kind of the deciding factor on that?
As far as changing the freight goes,
Yeah, yeah.
the number one reason was that I felt there was zero relationship with trying to structure or build a business with nothing but a click and go or with Amazon. There was just, sure, it was okay money, sure, it was semi consistent, but there was no way that I was going to progress to the goals that I was trying to achieve. And that being said, it wasn't 100% sure what freight I really wanted to get into. It was more just knowing and recognizing at that moment that continuing further was nothing but a paycheck through Amazon. For me personally, that's just an opinion.
What was there anything kind of going on with rates or freight or volumes or anything that kind of
Big
helped be
time.
the deciding factor?
100%. Yeah. Over the course of a year, of doing this, slowly but surely, I could see the trends of the freight going down as far as not only the volumes, but obviously the rates. And at the time doing Amazon, I was keeping an eye on what the rates were doing for Amazon nationwide. And I was actually, at the time, I was in probably one of the highest paying Amazon freight markets there were. And that got to the point where even if you owned your equipment, even if you were getting 8+ miles a gallon, it really was starting to get to the point where it was hard to grow the business any further than, like I said, just keeping it at a level playing field and just paying yourself, paying the business and a maintenance fund, and that was about it. There wasn't really a ton left over. So watching that and knowing where the market was going to continue going with Amazon was 100%. There was no other deciding factor other than I needed to get out and change things up.
So Amazon kind of went back to being what Amazon was before COVID. Really,
100%.
truthfully, is kind of what it was. So
Yes.
Amazon being Amazon, they'll do that, and they continue to do that. So you were looking for a better opportunity, or just a
Any
change.
opportunity, is what I was looking for. I knew what I was doing. I was gonna continue doing the same thing of not getting a better result in the long run.
Yeah. Snorlord in the house, the $10 super chat. I appreciate that, Snorlord. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Okay, so you made this change. Why? Why reefer? Why not flatbed? Why not van? Why not whatever power only?
Hmm.
What was?
Good
Thank you.
question.
Thank you, Greg Zimmer. $20 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Merry
great
Christmas to you,
question.
sir.
At the time, I guess the opportunity came across that someone recognized what I was trying to accomplish and wanted to give me an opportunity, and that person ended up specializing in reefer.
But let's stop for just a second. You're free to say whatever you want to say. Just so you know, okay? It's completely up to you. You say whatever you want or not say whatever you want. We forgot to have that discussion.
Okay.
It's in your court.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Yeah. The person that gave me the opportunity specialized in reefer, had customer freight, and gave me an opportunity that I couldn't turn down. If that person maybe gave me the same opportunity and they were hauling flatbed, I probably would have looked into doing flatbed. You know what I mean? Honestly, having a really not enough experience to know what kind of freight I wanted to haul. I mean, I had past experience, hauling furniture, flatbed, and then dry van. I kind of looked at it like, why not get into something different? And I did start doing a little bit more research on what freight was paying what and what I was willing to do. And reefer seemed to kind of meet everything that I was wanting or looking to do. I was able to build a relationship with customers potentially. There was freight year round. There wasn't really a huge slow season with reefer freight. And I don't know, the stars aligned and it made sense, at the time.
Yeah, and you don't have to share any numbers. That's fine, and I prefer you don't actually. But
Okay.
it sounds to me kind of like you're in a position where you were looking to make a change, but not to just another truck driving thing. It was you were looking for something where you could build an opportunity for yourself for the future if you wanted to grow, and that kind of structure, can make that happen with having regular things, maybe some customer freight, or
Mhm.
always looking for more opportunities. So is that something, if somebody out there right now is struggling and trying to make it through? Do you recommend that approach? What kind of things, if they're looking for somewhere else to go, what should they be looking for if they want to stay successful or survive?
I think one of the first things they need to look at is they need to look at themselves. They need to look at how they've structured their business currently and what their future goals are. And based on that is where you're going to determine, okay, do I need to go haul this or do I need to go deal with this size carrier? So I think the first thing you need to do is you need to look at yourself. You need to look at your long-term goal and then come up with a plan of action from there. Now, that being said, the plan of action, I would say, is to really make relationships with the carrier and someone that has connections or has built connections or wants to build connections for something that's going to outlast the other guy. Something that's going to be able to stick with you as far as a customer goes, for the long term, through the ups and through the downs, because that's what's going to keep you through getting through times like what we're currently in.
Okay. With both feet, thank you. $20 super chat. Very Merry Christmas to you, sir. I just opened up my email and saw you sent me something. That was very generous. You didn't have to do that. Thank you. I do appreciate it. You're a good friend. Mark M, for $20 super chat. I appreciate it too. You're a good man also. We've talked before. So, the great argument, I don't even know how it's an argument. There's room for both. Everything can be done both ways.
Mm.
There should be no conflict between the two of, spot market's the only way to go. Contractors are the way to go. Direct relationships. Plenty of room and place for both.
Mm-hmm.
You've done both.
Mm-hmm.
Which is your preference? Which do you believe will get you more to where you want to be? Or what has worked?
Yeah. I would say when I first started out, it was more of a 90-10 or 80-20 split. I was doing the majority of it was spot market freight. But as time went on, I gained knowledge on lanes, what they paid, and what areas I like to stay in and stay out of. Over time, I've done a little bit, actually quite a bit more customer freight. I'd say right now we're at about 50-50 on the spot market versus the customer freight, depending on the month. But overall, I can say the customer freight is great just because it's always there. You know what I mean? Sometimes
when we say customer freight, that can mean a lot of different things. There's customers that want you to do the same load every week. There's customers that I have a customer that I hear from maybe once a month,
Mhm.
and I'm happy to pull that load once a month.
Mhm.
A customer doesn't have to be a manufacturer. A customer can be a 3PL. You strike a deal with a 3PL for this lane. It doesn't hit the broker boards. A customer can look a lot of different ways.
Agreed.
So each customer is a little different. So how has that enabled you to be? So we're just going to say, we've looked at your numbers. I'd put them against anybody's, honestly, with what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
I don't believe in that's personal information, putting that out there, exact everything. Just from my experience, it's your numbers are better than I've ever done, personally myself. So happy for you with that. Other than this step aside from the freight for a second and talk about the mindset it takes to get where you are with what you've done, the sacrifices you've made. How do you think about this on a day-to-day thing? Are you always thinking about the truck? Are you always thinking about freight? Are you thinking about your business? How does a person need to form their thoughts and act to be more successful in a time, and any time, but mostly a time like this?
Might hurt some feelings, but
That's okay. That's okay.
I'd say if you really want to do this and you're going to be kind of the one-man show, or with a small carrier and be an owner operator, come in this to build a future. Don't come in this to make a paycheck. If you're here just to make a paycheck, go work for a company. Plain and simple. If you're not here to create something, and it's okay to be a one-man show and to have your customers that you want to work with and whatnot. I'm not saying that if you don't want to like grow a fleet that you need to get out of this, but if you have the mentality and you're coming in this to be satisfied with coming up with X amount of dollars per week to pay your bills at home, I think that this is the wrong industry to be in, truthfully, as far as being a contractor or being a business owner.
You're
I think
saying
you could,
if you're looking at it as you bought yourself a job, is basically what you're saying.
I think that's wrong
Okay.
personally. Again, this is nothing but my personal opinion, but I think that there's too many people that are in this industry right now that are satisfied with taking home. I'm just going to throw a number out there: $1,000 to $1,500 to $2,000 a week, and they're sat, and that's what they net for the week, and they're content with that, and they're just going to continue doing that forever. And you know what? There's going to be tough times that you are going to take a loss, and you are going to only make that, and sometimes it may take months of doing that, and that's okay. But if you don't have the mentality that says I'm not satisfied with, you know, if you're just going to be satisfied with taking home, that kind of a paycheck every single week and just do the bare minimum in this industry, I'd say get out of it, go work for a company and build a relation there with them, with someone that's going to take care of you maybe on the back end as far as a retirement goes, than just trying to take some of the freight from the people that are actually trying to grow a future with maybe multiple trucks or multiple customers, something along those lines.
Okay. Let me run some comments here for a second. Mark M,
Okay.
if this guy's the real deal, I'd be very impressed. Well, I tell you what, I know you, Mark. You know me, and I'm telling you, he is. So I hope you take my word. Very, very happy to know this kid. Um, done a great job. Jerome Jones says, "Let's go with both feet." Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas to you, Mechanic Jay in the house. What's up? Great comment, Mechanic Jay. Being profitable for today started several years ago by saving money and spending less than you make. Okay, let's talk about that for just a second.
Hmm.
This is something I know you do. So,
Hmm.
how much of your success in business and in being profitable is mostly habits, money management skills, and discipline? I mean, I have it in my head that that's like 90% of it.
All of it. Yeah, all of it. It's kind of like we talked about this, off the air, but basically I think that if you aren't able to manage your money and manage your household as far as your finances and your mindset goes outside of trucking, it's going to be 10 times harder to try to manage that at home while trying to do that with your business. You know what I mean? Yeah, the amount of sacrifices made are hard, but they pay dividends in the long run every single day.
So, can you give any real world examples of like the sacrifices you made or the discipline you've had with your business or personal life, or things you brought from your personal life into your business that have put you in that position, that go back to
Stop,
self discipline and
stop idling your trucks. Simple. I mean, there's so many simple things that you could do, and that's just one of them. That's more of a joke, but there's so many simple things that you could be doing, man. Stop giving your money to all these truck stops for your food. You know what I mean? Like, if you have the ability every single week to go to a Walmart to cook in your truck, to get a bigger fridge. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys I've seen that take out their whole passenger seat and they put a refrigerator in there. That's what I did. You know what I mean? Like, is it ideal? No. But does it save me hundreds of dollars a month? Yes. You know what I mean? I mean, I probably save enough money between not idling and just cooking in the truck as what some people pay themselves a week. Plain and simple.
so
Um,
so then that hundreds of dollars a month you save, you know,
Reinvest it.
that's where a lot of people would fall short. Tell me what to do with that hundreds of dollars a month.
You reinvest it back into yourself or your equipment. Now, whether you want to reinvest into yourself and use that for education, for educating yourself, or putting it back into your equipment. And I'd say probably one of the biggest things that I've recognized that I've tried doing for at least the last 6 months to a year is using those savings to reinvest in my equipment for preventative maintenance.
Pay
I
off
don't, I would,
debt.
yeah, or pay off your equipment. Yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Um, let's talk about. Well, let me get a couple more comments
Mhm.
here. Trucking with MC in the house. Thanks for coming in. I see a lot of my people in here. Hello, all. Trucking with MC, or cheap freight hauler in here. Merry Christmas, he says. Trucking with MC is headed to Atlanta. Okay. All right, talking back and forth here a little bit. David Edwards in the house just passed his CDL test. Morning all. There's a DIY semi putting the application out there for a wonderful fuel card.
Mm.
Kelly Patterson, morning all. Plays on Freeway in here. What's up? CJ Hudson in the house. Howdy. Rickert 0713. We recently spoke. Hello. How you doing? Trucker named Tim Semi. That's right. DB15 gracing us with his presence on Christmas Eve. How you doing, buddy? And trucking with T-Bone. Boy, we can go deep on this. All right. So Jeff Stage in the house. Good vibes. All right. I'm gonna let me say hi here to cents per mile, 8% profit for this year, and still gonna go up. That's awesome. Steve ND86 in the house, and Benedetto working on Xmas. What a Grinch. Yes, I'm a little bit of a Grinch. All right, let's talk about your operation a little bit. The kind of truck you drive. We could go back to your previous truck, the details on that, and then you recently upgraded, made some major accomplishments. Like I'm gonna give you the golf clap right here. I'm impressed by your accomplishments in the last 6 months. I really am.
Thank
So
you.
talk about everything you've done as far as equipment wise since like the first of the year, and why you chose that equipment. What do you think is good about it, and if any regrets you have, and then that equipment, how did it help you to get as profitable as you are?
Gotcha. Yeah, started out with a 2015 Cascadia when we were doing Amazon, and that truck was a manual transmission, unfortunately. Granted, I was running the Northwest going through the snow, so at the time first starting out, I felt safer. That was what I was more comfortable in. And running the mountains in the snow, I felt that I couldn't afford to potentially get in any kind of major accident. I felt like at that time running the Northwest with a manual transmission honestly was just a little bit safer for me at that time. But further down the road, we had some electrical issues with that truck and other issues. It was a great truck for about 150,000 miles. I paid it off fairly quick. I think I paid that truck off within about 6 to 7 months of owning that truck, and I financed the entire amount with no money down. So paid that truck off, and then we only had that truck paid off for roughly 6 months. So only gained the profits off of having paid off equipment for about 6 months, but I was able
But you got a
to
taste of it.
save. I did. I got a taste of it. And I saved up. I've saved up fast enough. I did not give myself a raise. Those are, I guess you could say, some of the sacrifices. Was I kept my cost of living inside and outside of trucking the exact same. If not, after I paid off that truck, I actually probably tightened things up even more. And I saved every penny from that. And then I paid cash for a reefer trailer. So had no payments on a trailer, and then started having issues with that 2015 Cascadia. So we just recently sold it, and I purchased a 2019 Cascadia, spec'd out pretty much exactly the way that I would want, minus having an APU.
Okay.
So getting very, very good fuel mileage in this setup that I have right now.
Would you
in
say
my opinion,
that's key to, I mean, the key to life right now for you?
yes, definitely. I'm very profitable at not that I want to run for $2 a mile, but I'm very profitable at $2 a mile. Very profitable.
Okay. Ooh.
So,
Stirring up controversy.
oh yeah,
Right away with the cheap freight. I'm just kidding. Freight trucking in the house says, does Justin drink Malort? Oddly enough, I've seen him drink Malort. He did keep it down. He did not throw up in the fire department parking lot. So, does he drink it? Yes. Does he regurgitate it? I have not seen that happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and say real man. Hashtag real man. Let's see. All right. The animal in the house. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to you, animal. Hope you're home for Christmas. Gen Z Trucking. Hey, y'all. How you doing? Once again, Snorlord, thanks for super chat. Greg Zimmer, appreciate it. Mark M, smart guy. Yes. Robert B, haha, come on, guys. All right. So it sounds like you've had one heck of a year. I've often thought it can take one really good year to change the rest of your life. And I think that you've had a really good year, and I think another year just like it with your habits will set you up really, really nice for a long time. Now, we compared your numbers to somebody that actually had a higher gross
Mhm.
and just really bad personal habits would be, I guess, the way you could say it. And the difference is just, it's just mind blowing. It's astonishing. I mean, you're talking over a career of trucking, you're probably talking a couple $1 million worth of difference
Mhm.
in profit.
Mhm.
And it just goes to show that the opportunity is there for most people, for a lot of people. It's what you do with it. It's your personal habits. It's you can it's all got to go together, right? What good if you come to tell me I gross 8 to 10 grand a week, you know, hey, great for you, but you could still be broke as a joke. You
Mhm.
could still be, taking cash advances off your fuel card to eat,
Mhm.
and then you could come to me and tell me, I only gross 4 grand a week, and you could be sitting on a stack of money or all kinds of assets. It's not you can take way less money and turn it into way more just with personal habits. And if you have that big income with the kind of personal habits that you have, the sky's the limit, man. You oftentimes wish you could turn back time and go back 20 years to when you were younger.
Mhm.
And it's, oh, if I'd only known then what I know now. You're there. You're doing it. So 10 more years of doing what you're doing is your life is going to be great.
And I think that just goes right back to what you were saying is some of the personal habits and the mindset goes. I could care less about the gross. I care about the bottom of the settlement that tells you how much you're taking home, how much you're netting. You know what I mean? How much you have left to do what you got to do with. Like as Cash says. You know what I mean? That's really what matters. I could care less what the gross is. I care about what am I taking home every day or every week.
Yeah. Um, so knowing we talk regular about some of the pitfalls you avoided.
Hmm.
Going back, if you would have done some of the things, do you think? And this is people are going to think I'm talking about any one particular person. This is nobody. This is just a question to you. Do you
Mm.
think if you had bought a brand new truck or a brand new trailer or done some things differently, that
Oh,
your result would have been the same? It's an honest question because I want people to know. I want them to hear it both ways, to hear both sides of it.
I'm not gonna say that it's the truck as much as it's the person's mindset. I think if you asked me, hey, if I was in the exact same position as someone else that maybe bought a brand new truck, but I had the exact mindset that I currently have right now and, still tried to accomplish the same goals, I think the end result would be the same. I think it would take three times longer than if I did it the way that I did. So I'm not going to say getting a brand new truck is the worst decision. I definitely don't think it's the best decision at all. Maybe even a truck that was a year or two old, so let someone else take the depreciation on it. That would be a lot better of a scenario. So, but at the end of the day, I think it really does come down to the personal habits and the mindset of the person. You know what I mean? Um, Granted, I will say you leave yourself with a truck payment that is twice as much, three times as much as your mortgage. I think you're got stuff way out of balance, in my
But
personal opinion.
bottom line,
You're working for the truck.
it would have been much harder to accomplish this with a $4,000 a month truck payment.
Much harder. And not only would it be harder, I think it would change your mindset and make you feel like it's impossible. You know what I mean? It's a never ending road that you're just hoping that the freight's going to get better. And I think it would be pretty hard to keep yourself motivated with a truck note of that size, in my opinion.
Did you talk about the financial part of the truck you just bought and the trailer and your accomplishments with that? I think you just said you bought a 2019 Cascadia, and
I mean, just how I did it.
yeah, and what you accomplished, before the
Yeah.
end of the year.
So we purchased the truck in 2000, or excuse me, in July of this year. I purchased a truck for $57,000. It was a 19 Cascadia DD15 with just under 500,000 miles with a warranty on it. Again, same scenario as my 2015. I financed the entire amount of it. Actually made the minimum payments on it for the first 2 or 3 months, saved up, and then just started making huge payments. So just paid it off this year. Actually making the last payment on Monday. So truck's pretty much paid off. Bought it in July for 57. I paid the entire thing off
in 5 months.
Yes.
In a bad market. In a bad market.
You pay your maintenance fund, you pay your business, you pay yourself. Everything left over goes to the truck. Every penny. Doesn't matter if it's $100 or $5,000 week. You pay yourself, you pay your maintenance fund, you pay your business, and everything else goes to the truck. Take the emotion out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would suggest.
What about the trailer?
Paid cash for the trailer. When I had the 2015 Cascadia and I finally paid it off, I had that 6-month gap of having a paid off truck. Like I said, I tightened things up and I actually saved as much, if not more, than when I had a truck payment. And I just continued saving until I found the right deal on a trailer and I paid cash at 0% interest. I almost thought about financing that trailer actually. But I'm glad that I didn't. So paid cash for the trailer. So yeah, truck and trailer are 100% paid off.
Okay.
And it's
Sterling Wheel, $10 super chat. Appreciate it. Does Justin have a YouTube channel? He's a good dude. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Not yet.
All right.
Not yet. I've been thinking about it. I know. I've been having the people around me push me to do it.
We'll get you up there pretty quick if you need to.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Cash and
What's up, Sterling?
Promote good people. All right. So I just can't emphasize it. So you weren't always of this mindset. You know, we met a while back casually, and you it was obvious you had your stuff together, but you still had the expensive jacked up pickup truck. You still had some toys, right? So something happened somewhere along the line to change your mind about things a little bit. What was it? What is it? If it's not too personal.
Oh, no, not at all.
Where'd the idea come from?
I wanted to do things different than my parents, to be honest. I not to say that what they're doing is wrong, but my parents have both worked normal jobs with a 401k, and that's great, and they're doing very well for themselves. But I've always kind of just had that entrepreneur mindset. Like I said, I kind of started this whole journey when it was when I was about 29, 30 years old is when I became an owner operator. I've worked for multiple different companies, driving and not driving, over the course of my career in many different industries. And I've just never been great with going and clocking in somewhere every single day. I like being in control of my fate almost. So I don't know if I have any one thing in particular that changed, other than once I got my feet wet and started to see that if you could take the combination of, kind of, what you do, what you teach, what Cash does, what Snorlord, all these different guys that I watch on YouTube, and I kind of just put them all together, and I've kind of just created and took the best qualities out of everybody and just kind of made my own, I guess you could say, equation for success that, is working. You know what I mean? So I don't.
Going back to that, there is a lot of trucking content on YouTube.
A lot.
What a guy really has the option to get into whatever part of it that you want. There's some that are, drama. There's some that are educational. There's some that are, day-to-day activities. The resources out there, right? It's just how bad do you want it? It really is. And I'll say this, and I'll say this on behalf of Cash too. Congratulations to you for listening and doing it. It's all out there, guys. It's all out there. Go get it. All this information is free anymore. It took me 25 years to figure all this crap out, and now it's all out there for free.
Mhm.
and I help put it out there. So uh, go get it. And Snorlord and I talk about this all the time: is ego, right? You have to be able to put your ego aside, or we all have. It's a natural human state to have ego. I have ego. You have ego. We all have ego. It's just a matter of you letting your defenses down enough to be able to learn something and accept it, and accept the fact that you could be wrong. I'm wrong about things. We're all wrong about things, and try it. Sometimes there is a better way. Um, it's against human nature to be that way and to act that way, and you've done that, and you're just raking in the results of it. So good on you for that. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Um, it's a hard thing to do, but anybody watching this, you have the same opportunity.
Mhm.
Um, go with the people that have done it. I've done it. Cash has done it. Justin here has done it. There's there's kind of, I don't want to call it a blueprint out there, because there's different ways to do everything. Like you said, some of them will get you the same place. It'll take more time. There's definitely some fast tracks out there to it, and you were nearly willing to, I don't wanna say blow up your whole lifestyle and make the change and start over, but you've taken some drastic steps,
Yeah.
and I would bet you've changed things at least probably 5,000 a month to the good, from to where things were, with some moves you made with vehicles, and the truck being paid for, the trailer being paid for,
Mhm.
and now that's 5 grand you can build something with. It can be another business, it could be this business, it could be your personal life, it could be a family, it could be a house. um, so congratulations to you for that.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. Let's get some other more comments here.
Mhm.
Gary Bates in the house, thanks for coming in. Trucking with KB Specialized. Just met with my new driver that's starting truck number 2 in 2 weeks. Now at the house reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I never want to buy a job. I want to build a business. There you go. That's one of the best books
Good book.
ever written on
Good
finance. I
book.
I make myself reread that book about every 2 or 3 years, because I enjoy it too.
Mhm.
Snorlord says, I've met Justin in person. He made a great impression. Well, that's good. If Snorlord thinks you're okay, you must be okay.
Good guy.
Uh, Sterling, American truckers are shafted. Most of our competitors are homeless and send their money overseas to support their families. That's not untrue. So let's talk about that for a second.
Mhm.
Um, you wouldn't be totally against that statement, I know, but is there still opportunity? Can you still do these things, or is it just, eh, we're screwed? Let's just give up. But and certainly not picking on you, Sterling. I'm just trying to figure out what Justin's doing here.
Yeah. No, I definitely think there's opportunity out there. Um, yeah. It's tough. It's tough. That kind of a tough question to answer.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of a hot button topic.
Hmm.
Um, Steve ND86 says, if you're wondering what to do in 24, just ask SoCal. He's a real know-it-all. What is I guess I don't know what you mean by what to do in 24.
Hmm.
Do you know?
No.
Yeah, I'm not very hip, so if that's a pop culture reference, I'm not the guy to ask. Team Tiny says, no APU, no front seat, air fryer, and a fridge freezer where passenger seat used to be. Yep. Yeah, there you go. There you go. T Hill says, if you can't haul cheap freight, you'll go out of business.
Hmm.
It's good to be able to have the ability.
Yeah.
Obviously, none of us want to,
Yeah.
but I'm in
Sometimes
business
you
to
have to.
I'm in business to be in business and stay in business, and the business I'm in is trucking, not sitting at home. If I
Yeah.
could, if I could have a business, what the hell am I saying? I'm sitting at a computer in my office. Uh, but we're in the trucking business. We gotta move freight. We gotta go
Yeah.
trucking. Tolga in the house. Thanks for coming in. Buy stocks says, worked in a warehouse over the road. Truck drivers always talked my head off. LOL. Yeah, we'd talk. Used to be being alone every day. Dan's hot shot in the house. Thanks for coming in. Moet says, "How's it going, DIY? I checked out the Taylor and Martin auction and didn't really see the prices you seen.
Mm.
Email me, Moet. You got my email. Email me. I can send you a set of recent auction results. By the way, I like that background you're using. I've seen Fate Truck and use a background similar to that. All right, everybody. Here goes the neighborhood.
Boom.
What up? What's going on?
What up? Not much. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Justin?
Good. Good.
Hey,
Are you working?
I wanted to. I don't know. Am I?
Oh, I thought you'd
No,
be
I'm not.
fishing.
I'm at the house. I got the family in the house right now, so I thought I'd come out to the truck so it'd be quieter. I wanted to touch on something though that you said and DIY said that I think's really important, and I hope people are listening to you because you're such a knowledgeable dude, for as young as you are. I have the privilege of being able to talk to you, you know, during the week and stuff like that. But you both made the comment. It's out there for everybody. What the advice DIY gives, the advice Cash is King gives out, and we take bits and pieces of that and mold it into a business that actually works out when everybody, I'm not going to say everybody, when a lot of people are struggling, you know, which I don't think any of us really want to see, but I think being able to listen and take advice, even if you have multiple years of experience. I'm somebody that came into this owner operator deal with quite a bit of years of experience, you know, over 23, 24 years. And I was a deer in the headlights, man. And I really believe the success that I have as today in life is based on being able to listen and take advice. You know what I mean? And I know you do the same thing. And I think that sets us apart. And I'm not trying to be egotistical or anything like that, but if you're able to shut your mouth and open your ears, like you hear knowledge, and it's free. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, and it's you have to have the gift of discernment. There's knowledge that's loud and boisterous, and you don't know exactly where it's coming from or the person that's giving it, are they living it? And then there's knowledge and advice that's quiet and calm and on the level, and you have to look at the person who's giving it to you and see if they're living it, and if they are, how is it worked for them. I was once thought of the statement that character is what you do when nobody's looking.
Mm-hmm.
You got to catch that person when they don't know that they're being watched, and see what they're doing behind the scenes when nobody's looking.
Mm-hmm.
And did they do things that they don't bring to YouTube, they don't talk about on YouTube? So you have to do some research on where you're taking your knowledge and advice from. I found that to be just eternally true on YouTube, because some people are not what they seem. That's the bottom line of it, really.
And really, to kind of go off of that, DIY is,
He turned his hat backwards.
Oh yeah, I saw. I think to go off of that, there's a lot of things and good knowledge and bad knowledge that's going on let's just say YouTube, and everywhere, not just YouTube. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, it's everywhere. But stay away from, I would suggest, stay away from the things that are negative or that are putting you in the wrong mindset. Focus on the ones that are good and stick with the equation that they're trying to, basically put out there for you. Practice it. Scott, you told me a while ago, you told me, hey, stick to a lane and master that lane. You're gonna be able to get to know the roads, the routes, the truck stops, the fuel stops, the customer, everything. Okay, you're gonna get to know the ins and outs. I think that's the same thing with YouTube or some of the people that you're following. To be honest, I don't really have a ton of people. I've got probably about 4 or 5 people, maybe 6 that I watch, and I stick with them. It's consistent. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna fill my brain with all this information coming from 10 different directions when, if I know what's working and what's helping, I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to focus on taking every bit from that video or from their knowledge that they're able to bring to the table and use it and try to perfect it and use it myself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's my recipe, man. Everything you just said is my recipe.
It's
I
a double-edged sword. How do you discern the good from the bad? What judgments do you use to pick it apart and to decide what's right for you?
well, like you said, you talked about character for a minute, DIY, and I hear Kat talk about.
Mm-mm.
My phone's blowing up.
Oh, there you
To
go.
find a carrier to lease on.
Come on, man, knock
Sorry
it
guys,
off.
my phone.
No,
Can
that's
you
all
hear
right.
me? Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Getting back to what I was saying. Um, when you find somebody, you can talk to them. Beep.
Mhm.
What are you texting me now? Stop, Adam. Stop. When you can actually sit down and talk to somebody or you email somebody, you can get a good feel on if what this person is portraying is real or not. You know what I mean? I can only speak from my experience, but leasing onto a carrier for the first time the way I did was absolutely terrifying because it was somebody off of YouTube. You know what I mean? And that's how I met the person, was off of you. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Stupid. All right. Gosh, he's lucky he met someone off YouTube, man.
That's funny.
My first carrier I leased onto, I never even met the guy.
Just for little behind the scenes shenanigans. I've been texting him, making his phone go off.
Of course.
I can't help it. It's just too
course.
easy. All right, that's over with. Let's fix this. All right, back to reality. Oh, here he is again.
Sorry
You
about
back?
that. I'm back.
Okay.
Stop
Sorry,
texting me.
I troll myself every now and then. It's one of life's great pleasures. Troll yourself. Go ahead.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna say.
YouTube carrier.
Oh yeah, just YouTube and like when you're able to meet somebody or communicate with them, whether it's email or on a phone call, you get a very good idea of what this person really is like and if what they're portraying is true. You know what I mean? And I know for me, it was absolutely terrifying leasing on to somebody that I had never met before, but came with high recommendations from another YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? And I look at where I'm positioned now, not only in my personal life, but my business life. And obviously your character DIY is like through the
I'm
roof. You
quite
know
a
what I mean?
character.
Yeah. But no, I think Justin can talk about that too. I mean, I remember, I don't know if this is okay to share or not. I spoke to Justin before he was a reefer hauler. Is this okay to talk about, Justin, or no?
Yeah.
And I thought it was strange that somebody was talking to me about trying to change their business to do what they're doing now. But for some reason he saw character in me. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I look forward now. I know, crazy, right?
Can't imagine.
I look forward now, and I mean, like, I don't think Justin would say it was a bad experience, and I believe everything that I shared with Justin has just been regurgitated information that I learned from DIY and Cash. I mean, plain and simple.
100%.
You know what I mean?
But here's the thing: it's not that complicated.
It's not.
It's just
It's
not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's 30, 40 years ago, our grandparents would have called it just common sense. Just that's what you do, right?
Well, Justin talked a little bit about what his parents do, or like what his parents did, and he didn't want to follow in the same footsteps. I can relate 100% to that. You know what I mean? And my parents are you know, they work their asses off. They have a good life. They, you know, it just wasn't what I wanted. I wanted the the stress, the risk versus reward. You know what I mean? And Justin and I, like I said, I'm fortunate enough to talk to him. I mean, we live basically the same lives. We don't overextend ourselves in our personal life. A lot of what we do goes directly into the business
Mhm.
and purchasing better equipment to get better economics, man. I mean, come on. Business is economics. If you can generate more revenue by cooking in your truck and driving a truck that has better fuel economy, and you're considering yourself a business,
Mhm.
why wouldn't you do that? Especially if you're one truck. I mean, I can only speak for one truck, one trailer. But
Mhm.
as a business, that makes sense to me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Put more money into my business and put more money hopefully for my future, because that's why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for the instant gratification, which is a very
No.
hard
You mean you're not
just
coming in here and just trying to make a paycheck, and just
hell no.
get by with 1,000, 1,500 bucks a week?
When you said that, why wouldn't I work for a company? That's what I made as a company driver. What
That's what I'm
with
saying.
no
And that's
headache.
okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all,
Mm-mm.
Shit, I think $1,500 a week as a company driver, I think that's great money.
Oh,
Low
I never made
stress.
that as a company driver. Shoot,
Yeah,
I was
no,
still working for
never.
like 32 cents a
what?
mile.
Wait a minute, but you remember the company kind of what I work? I was working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You can joke about me going ice fishing and stuff. I couldn't get time off. I
Yeah.
couldn't do the little bit of things I want to do in life to enjoy life. I wasn't able to do.
Mhm.
When I quit
Did,
punching a clock, I had more freedom. Now, that freedom doesn't always mean I'm able to do what I want to do, but I have more freedom, and that's what I want.
I can honestly say, as a bed bugger, with the amount of hours, I was making pretty decent money hourly. But with the amount of hours and how much I did travel, even though I was considered a local driver or regional driver, I can honestly say that it was harder on my relationship as a company driver doing that than what I'm currently doing.
Yeah. So I think my wife, someday I would love to like actually get her on, because I think she would agree with the statement I'm about to make. When I was a local driver or even a regional driver, when I was home, I wasn't home. You know what I mean? I was tired. Oh, great. Here we go.
It
I was
was coming.
tired. I was come on, DIY. Stop playing games.
I can't help it. Go ahead.
No, it was just, it's a different dynamic. Like when I'm home now, I walk in the door, I take my nap because I'm usually exhausted, but then I'm home. I'm part of my family. Where before I came home, ate, showered, and went to bed. That was
Mhm.
my life. There was no, I mean, I would go to softball or soccer or something that the kids had, but after that there was no family time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And that
Um,
gets
So,
back to the freedom.
okay. So Justin, everybody's here to learn from you, see how you did it. Uh, I have a T-shirt that lays out the formula for success. It's in my merch store.
mhm.
Everybody, check that out. You give us your formula for success in trucking.
Mm. Action. Um, Come in with a game plan, 100%. I would say again, reiterating kind of what I said earlier, but having a goal or a target to meet that is hard to achieve, but manageable to where you'd be able to still stay motivated. So come up with a business plan, come up with the motivation, and find the type of freight or carrier you want to work with and stick to it for the long haul. If you are going to try something else during that goal, that's okay. Put a time limit on it. For instance, I know somebody right now that is been consistently doing one kind of freight that wants to change it up and try something else. Well, that's okay. You know what I mean? I don't think it's maybe the best time to do that, but if you're going to and you're going to choose to make make a change in your plan, that's okay. But put a time limit on it, see if it works, and then if it doesn't, go back to what works. You know what I mean? So come up with a business plan, come up with a game plan, and have an achievable goal that you can meet with a time restriction. Don't just say, "Oh, I want to, you know, pay my truck off sometime in the next 3 to 5 years. No, come up with a game plan saying, hey, I'm going to pay off this much of my truck, or I'm going to achieve and run this many customer loads this year, or this 6 months, or this month. Put a time restraint on something to hold yourself accountable for. No more of this just, I'm going to get in this and I'm just going to make as much money as I can this year, and I don't care how I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it. Personally, that's not really achieving anything. So coming up with, again, a game plan for everything that you're going to do. Come up with a time restraint of how much time am I going to spend at home? How much am I going to set aside for taxes, and when am I going to set that aside? How much am I going to pay myself, and what kind of freight or customers am I going to work towards achieving for this year?
Can I talk about that?
Yeah.
Wait 1 second.
Yep,
Bravo
keep going.
Zulu in the house says Merry Christmas, everybody. Bravo Zulu gives the best Christmas presents in the world. He gave me the best Christmas present a grown man could ever possibly give another grown man. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Bravo Zulu.
Wow.
Thank you. We met in a truck stop a week or so ago. Yeah. Get your mind out of the gutter. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Very nice.
Yep. Anyway, go ahead there, trucker.
What were you going to say, Scott? Go ahead.
Trucker's counselor. I like it. Well, no, what I wanted to touch on was how you mentioned like hauling the customer freight, right? Or find a plan that works. And if you deviate from that plan, put a time limit on it. I agree 100% with that. And I think you're a perfect example of that. You stated earlier, you used to run 50-50, spot market versus, I would even argue it was more like, you're 50-50 now. You were running a lot more spot market, not even that long ago.
No.
But that's what I want to talk about real quick. This idea that finding customers, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot.
Do it. Please do it.
Yeah, because it is hard. I'm not taking away from the work and effort that you have to put into it. But you even know this, Justin. All it takes is the first appearance.
Mm-hmm.
The first appearance matters. How does your truck look? How are you dressed? Your first appearance matters big time. And I'll tell you what, that opens the door for consistency. I happen to believe as an owner operator, if you have consistency, if you have, whether like DIY said, it's an actual customer or a 3PL company or another type of company that you're working with, if they can consistently give you freight, you're winning. You're not wasting your time trying to find your next load, days on end sitting in a truck stop. You can make one phone call and have freight in what everybody deems a very bad freight market, which, once again, I don't mean to sound egotistical. Has this year been a little bit more stressful? Yeah. Has it been really hard? In my experience, no. The thing is trying to replenish what we spend. That's probably the hardest part of the market that we're in now, is replenishing what we spend.
I don't know about you. I think my biggest stresses that I had at all this year were just standard maintenance stuff, standard, breakdowns that anybody and everybody's going to get. I think those were some of my biggest stresses that I had throughout this year. And I think the biggest reason was because I didn't allow there to be other problems. I nipped them in the butt before they became problems. You know what I mean? Whether it was with the truck, with my finances, with my business. If anything, recently, what I've done was, started to sell some things and downsize. I think one of the biggest raises that a lot of people, whether they're a company driver or an owner operator or business owner, that you can give yourself is lowering your overhead, whether that's in your business or outside of your business. So I already personally don't pay myself that much. I actually pay myself less than what I did as a company driver prior to becoming an owner operator. I have a flat salary that is actually less than someone that I currently know that I recruited over there that still works for that company. He makes more than I do. You know what I mean? But the point is that I have a salary that covers my overhead at home outside of trucking. And recently, I actually am working on lowering. I can't really lower my overhead other than paying off my equipment in the business. I mean, I can't force the fuel prices to go down. The only thing I have control of is getting as best a fuel mileage as I possibly can, or getting the best fuel discounts that I possibly can. But What I do have, another thing I have control of is lowering my overhead costs outside of trucking at home. So by maybe getting rid of that truck payment or that car payment or the credit cards or whatever you can, or your lifestyle that you have at home, by doing that allows me to pay myself the same amount, but have more money, outside of trucking, for myself. So get out of debt, people. Plain and simple. Get out of debt. It'll change your life.
So this is gonna sound absolutely crazy, right? But you talked about lowering overhead.
Yes.
I purchased a truck in January of the beginning of this year. I overpaid for the truck. I am comfortable with that today. I didn't get it paid off as quick as you did, but I'm close to paying this truck off. Doing this all in a bad market, what everybody deems a bad market. But here's the kicker. I lowered my overhead, even with adding new equipment to my truck. You wonder, how did you do that? Well, I spent $50,000 in maintenance last year on my old truck. Do you know how much out of pocket, besides your oil changes, right? I've 3 oil changes this year in this truck. Other than that, I had to get a new turbo actuator that was $1,500. That's all I've spent. I had damage when I hit a curb out on the East Coast. My insurance took care of that. But I lowered the overhead, my cost to operate for the year, by buying a different piece of equipment. You know what I mean? Even with the extra payments I've made to this truck, is still less than what my maintenance cost was last year.
You're not saving money on the maintenance. You know what you're saving money on is not having any downtime.
Yeah, that too.
Except for when
and
you hit
hotels. Yeah, when I hit curbs. I did have a YouTube hotel review channel there for a while, but that's gone away now.
But you're rolling. You're putting the miles down. You get good rates,
Well,
you get bad rates.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Here we go.
The numbers looked pretty hefty on his end, I will say. So, I mean, he's been putting in some good miles and some good weekly settlements, I'm sure.
But I will admit, as painful as it is, the Cascadia gets better fuel economy than the International. That's hard for me to say.
What was that?
But I'll take 0.2 of a mile for the torques. The torques.
You'll race to that appointment that they'll make you sit in your truck until 5 minutes after your appointment to come in.
Look who's talking.
At least you'll get there first.
Talking. What are you doing today? Oh, I'm sitting in a shipper taking a 34. What?
Sacrifices. There you go. Outer out miles.
And that is another thing that I will say that is a small detail or a sacrifice, that a little trick that I can teach people. And not that there's a lot of people that don't do it, but I have been doing it more recently. But, if you have time to take a 34, take advantage of it. Even if it's not an ideal place on where you want to go, or stay, take advantage of it. If you know that you have the hours to take a 34, do it. Because as soon as you get done with whatever load that you're on, you're not going to be worried about your hours. And yeah, it can get a little tiresome doing that. There's been a few times where I wasn't planning on taking a 34 and I do get stuck at a shipper and I'm already, 18 hours into a 34 and my next shipment is right down the street, but doesn't deliver until the next day. And I'm like, you know what, if it would be nice to go here or do this or whatever. But if I just sit here and just finish out and get a 34, it's just going to maximize that clock for the entire week. And I think that's something that I do, or try to do at least, that I'm pretty efficient on, is maximizing that clock as much as possible. I got parked yesterday with, I think, 5 minutes on my 70, and I've been running recaps for the last 3 or 4 days. You know what I mean? Just consistently trying to do that at least once or twice a month definitely helps out the weekly settlements overall.
So let me put this out there, and you can both answer it or argue over it. I could certainly give my opinion, but today is about you. Top 5 pitfalls people need to avoid that would cause them maybe setbacks or cause them to fail, or just put them in a bad situation or not in the best situation it could be in. So top 5 things to stay away from or avoid.
I'll go first.
However you want to do it.
Biting off more than you can chew with your equipment. Number one. Just because you think you can afford, or just because you can get qualified for something, doesn't necessarily mean you need to buy it. I saw a video the other day that showed two flatbedders, one with a brand new truck, one with an older truck, and they both had the exact same load, and they're both going to gross, and they're probably, I don't know about net, but they're both going to gross the same amount on the exact same equipment. Just one had a newer truck, one had an older truck. The difference is that all the profit this guy with the new truck is going to pay for that payment for that newer truck, versus the guy that maybe paid cash for the equipment to haul the exact same thing. You know what I mean? They're both getting the exact same job done. So yeah, just biting more off than what you could chew. Two, overpaying yourself. I think just because you get a settlement doesn't necessarily mean that you have to. Just because you can doesn't mean you have to pay yourself as much as what you want to. You know what I mean?
How about we add something to that, and that would be living out of your business account rather than paying yourself and living off of that money. Just whatever you need, taking it out of your business account.
Awful. In my opinion.
That's one of the biggest mistakes I see.
Yeah, and I think that goes with getting your money right. You know, that's one thing I would say, is that if you don't have your money right or in order, I'm not saying that you have to have a ton of money to come into this, but recognizing how much money is coming in and how much is going out, and percentages and profit margins and whatnot. Just because you have 10, 20, 30 grand in your business account doesn't necessarily mean that you're profitable just because the money is there. You know what I mean? But understanding how business works and being able to recognize and track your numbers is massive. So yeah, I would agree with that. So yeah, the second thing I would say is getting your expenses outside of trucking in order to where you're not constantly, drowning and depleting your business account with what you need to pay yourself. I'm not saying don't pay yourself. I do believe that you need to pay yourself and the truck first, but and never not pay yourself, but just keep that in control. The third thing I would say is put your ego aside. If you recognize that you are running the wrong equipment, or that you have to drive, say, this cool truck with big stacks, even though that's what you're comfortable in and that you like, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars. Plain and simple.
Hateful.
Justin,
So
you're
hateful.
gonna get so much hate.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
much hate.
Okay. I like it.
I've learned.
If I could drive, if I can drive a hood truck, 100% I would. I'm not going to say I don't like them. I know Cash says he doesn't really like stuff. I love hood trucks. I would love to be in a W9. If it got the same fuel mileage, 100%, I would pay twice as much for that truck if it got the same fuel mileage mine is. But it's never going to. I would. I really would. I love them. But it doesn't make dollars right now. It just plain and simple, it doesn't. I wish it did, but it doesn't. So, but my points being is, if you recognize that is keeping you and your family from making the amount of money that you want to, make a change and be okay with it. It doesn't mean that you have to drive a plastic truck forever. Drive what makes sense in a market like this until maybe the market starts to shift or change around. Once it does, go right back into your hood truck or your W9, in my opinion, or park it. That's probably not the best advice, but if you have to keep it, park it. You know what I mean? Go get a throwaway truck to go run for 6 months to a year and go make a bunch of money with it, and then just throw the truck away after 6 months or a year that you just bought, a truck that maybe gets 8 miles a gallon.
What if you sell it to some fool on YouTube? Some rube with too much money laying around.
That's fine. Get a grip for it then. But I think if only you knew what I bought or paid for that truck. Oh, one day.
Don't matter, bro.
Oh,
don't matter.
Dude, I've already told you. I know it wasn't a good deal for me.
Well,
There,
I still took like $6,000 off.
I told you what I got out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Down Columbia.
Anyway,
no.
that's 3 out of 5. You got 2 more. Come on.
That's 3 out of 5. Let me think. Putting the ego aside. Maybe Scott can fill them in. I think those are really the top 3. Let me think of a couple more.
Okay.
Well,
You go, Scott. Next.
number one, which is something that I've had to learn over time, is economics. 100% economics. And that's touching on exactly what Justin said too about your personal life and your business life. They're two separate things. They have to be. Your personal life, your home, I would say if you are thinking about becoming an owner operator and you're selling personal assets to like get a down payment for a truck, you might not be ready. And what I mean by that is you haven't financially disciplined yourself to save the $10,000-$20,000 that's required to maybe purchase a truck. So economics is one, and understanding, once again, going back to that word economic, what makes sense, what type of equipment are you going to run to generate and make the most out of every mile that truck turns, because that's what's important. It's not the rate per mile, it's how profitable you are at that rate. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And understanding that your equipment plays a huge role in that. Number two is, like you said, Justin, you got to learn not to take that money. Just because you might have enough money in your bank at the time and a bank's willing to finance a $500,000 house for you, you probably shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? And that's the hardest thing that I had to deal with. Not buying myself the toys that I thought I deserved. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That was the hardest thing for me to pump my brakes on. But what did it give me? It allowed me to pay well over $100,000 more on on my house. You know what I mean? It allowed me the ability to set my family up in a position of power versus a position of a settlement or a paycheck. You know what I mean? Um, it's finding the right. Listen, I believe in life. We all need mentors. There's people that are faithful human beings that have a faith that is structured in believing in something without seeing it, right? And I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just saying there's people that have that faith. I believe in business and in life we need to have mentorships. You need to put people in your corner that are there to support you and help you and tell you the honest truth. And that's where setting your pride aside comes. Man, anybody that thinks they're like don't have the free will to get out of a truck, like you're not a slave to the truck. You're not a slave to your carrier. You are a slave to your pride and ego. And if you put people in the right place that tell you that and you listen to them, you won't put yourselves in these bad situations. So as a business, when I came in, I was able to listen and take the advice from people that are successful. And I really believe that that's a big part of being a successful business owner, is being able to take advice and set your ego and pride aside, because that will kill you. That will, you hit it on the head, Justin. You won't be eating and you won't be providing for your family. If I was not providing for my family right now, you better believe I wouldn't be doing this. Like,
All right. All right. Poll is ended. 69% of people say they're profitable for 2023. New poll has gone up. Everybody, please go in and vote on the new poll, and we'll see how the results come out.
what's the poll?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? What's wrong?
What
Is there some kind
the
of problem?
question? What's the question on the poll?
what's the question on the poll?
Best YouTube trucking channel?
Is it who grossed the most from October till now?
It's Fate Trucking.
You got my
versus
Cash
Just an
App,
Expert.
right? We need to talk about that.
Oh, I know who
we
won. I'm taking the rest of the year off, and I know who won.
Oh, really? You saw the
Mhm.
numbers already? Once again, I love how the carrier I'm leased onto shares my business information with other people. I'm surprised you
don't-
haven't emailed it out.
I don't know. I don't know what your numbers are. I just know that mine was, I think,
Actually,
slightly
I'm
higher
gonna be
from October.
perfectly honest with you. You both lost.
Yes, you are right.
Really?
Yeah, by a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you. Okay, maybe in gross revenue. Yeah, you're probably right.
New poll is up. Best better YouTube channel, Fate Trucking, or the channel that does not yet exist, Justin Axford.
Justin wins.
Right now,
Justin
I'd say
wins.
Justin's 59%, Fate Trucking 41%.
Stupid.
It's too close to call. Too close to call.
That's
Mhm,
such a loaded question. DIY the 5 things
mhm.
because it just a lot of it
You know
comes
what?
down to individual.
Mine change all the time. Mine are ever evolving. The longer I do this and look at this, it becomes more and more evident to me that uh, personal habits and discipline are the most important thing.
Mhm.
I like it is that important. If you don't have your personal life in order, if you're deep in debt and you're thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy this truck so I can make all this money to get out of debt," ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna make any difference until you
No
change
way.
your personal habits. I'm gonna buy, a Peterbilt because they don't break down and Freightliners do, or I'm gonna buy a Kenworth because they break down and an International doesn't. Guess what? All trucks break.
Mhm.
It's mechanical. It's gonna break, and you're gonna fix it. Uh, build the most efficient operation you can, and don't get married to any one thing. I'm a Freightliner guy. You've seen me go out and buy Max. You've seen me go out and buy different things because sometimes the economics overcome all of it. You know, my first preference is a carrier unit on reefers. I come across these ones with the Thermo King unit. Just the money of it makes so much more sense. You have to do it. Uh, it's being open minded and not being married to any one thing. Being able to change your mind on the fly and make decisions fast. Um,
Well,
but the personal habits thing is just it's so critical. It's so critical
I,
because you're just if you're making mistakes with your money at $1,000 a week, when you're at $5,000 a week, you're just going to make do more expensive dumb things. The more
And
money is not going to solve your problem. More money is
yeah,
going to make the problems you have bigger and exacerbate the problems you already have. So,
and
uh,
I think you have the numbers to prove that.
oh, oh,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
which is unreal.
oh, it's
yeah.
on. I think I know what numbers you're talking about. At least I can talk about the numbers that I see that get emailed once a month to us, right?
Mhm.
That's
Based
all I
on
shared.
okay,
You're thinking I give out all your information. I don't. Not yet, anyways.
based on trucks. Huge difference, man. Like
Yeah.
something so simple can put an excess of $1,000 a month into your pocket. Something so
Please.
simple of turning the key off. And
Mhm.
and
And
it's
you think, and you say, $1,000 a month. All right, I'll pay an extra $1,000 a month to look good or be cool or whatever. That's fine. But if you don't look any further than that, if you're looking for okay, what could that $1,000 a month turn into for me over 35 years? You're talking these are $1 million decisions. You would think the decisions we're making are nickels and dimes. They're not. You're talking a lot of these things are seven figures. If you're talking
Dollars
an
a
extra
month. A
$25,000, $30,000
truck
a year
payment.
in fuel over
Yeah.
5 years, that's a brand new $150,000 truck for free. Or it's $3.5 million in your retirement fund,
Yeah.
right?
it's
I don't want to look cool. There ain't nothing I could do to look cool in the first place. I'm just, it's not going to happen. And I don't
turn
have
your
that
hat
strong of a
backwards.
desire to look cool. You're right. That is cool.
Especially with a hat backwards, if you were ever in that classic, maybe in the next couple years, that might
Yeah.
look pretty cool.
Sit low
All the
enough to
lights.
where we can only see the top of your head, where you're driving like this.
Yeah, he needs a shift knob up
Yep.
here.
There you go.
Stick it out the roof.
I got a question for you, DIY. This year was good. I think profitable. There was ups and downs, a lot of learning experiences. What about next year? What is it that you're maybe prediction, maybe some things you can recommend, and maybe some things that you're looking for in maybe a future driver or your current drivers?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Nobody asked, but this was the worst year I've ever had in trucking. I made the least amount of money this year in trucking as I ever did in my life. But that's not the whole story. I invested a lot back in the business, made some changes to to make things better for the future. So most of it was with a purpose. You oftentimes have to look deeper than the numbers to see what the intent and purpose was behind it. So next year, I think it's going to start off pretty soft. The only bright spot I've seen is that they're saying that consumer confidence is up. People are going to start spending money again. I will wait and see. I don't see any other bright spots happening right now, other than they put a pause on interest rate hikes for the moment.
Mhm.
So we'll see. And I still think it starts off pretty soft. If the election was not happening next year, I would say next year would probably be a complete dumpster fire for the entire year. But they have to pump things up a little bit to look good for the election. So
Mhm.
we'll play along. We'll play along and take
Can-
advantage of whatever comes. Taking a wait and see approach, really. Go ahead, Scott.
Can I ask a question based on what you just said?
Mhm.
Because I think I've been pretty clear. I know I've talked to Justin. Justin's seen me pretty pissed off before. I talk to you a lot, DIY. I'm somebody that is optimistic. Like I am an optimist. You know what I mean? I believe the glass is half full type of thought.
Okay.
And I just heard you talking about things might be soft in the first quarter of 2024. Do you think that people can position themselves to where, yes, the volume might drop a little bit, but dude, I have pretty consistent freight I run, and I don't see any real slowdown in it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right, and
Now,
that's why we do what we do. But not to say it can't happen. Like we've worked, all of us, the drivers included, have worked very hard towards these goals of trying to position ourselves in these situations in hopes that when it does happen, we're not hurt quite as bad. But it's still going to hurt because guess what? When other people lose their gigs, they come after yours. The only hope you have is that you've positioned yourself good enough that you're in, right, and you're doing the good job. You're doing it at a reasonable rate. For those that can't see past that, I certainly wish the best of luck. I don't intend to be one of those people, or at least try to not to be caught in that position. Things can go bad real fast. People have stopped spending money. If businesses have largely stopped spending money, they can't afford it. They can't afford the interest rates to make the payments on stuff. It's we could see mass layoffs. We can see a whole lot of things. We already seen deflation. We haven't really seen the full effects of that yet. So it's it's wait and see. But they'll throw everything they can at it to make it look good for an election year,
Mhm.
and it's really going to be hard to tell because if they can artificially manipulate it, they will, and we'll see how the cards fall after that.
okay.
Is the
But
truth that it's anybody's game in an election year. It really is.
can I ask you a question based on being a carrier that has contractors leased onto you? And I think I've never asked you this question, but I'm curious on what the answer is. Do you think, so when you hire on a contractor, like they're representing their business, but they're also representing your business, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they have to conduct themselves in a certain manner.
Yes.
Okay. Is that something you tell new contractors when they're leasing onto you?
A great deal. A great deal. In fact, I had to just 2 weeks ago let a guy go that wasn't kind of doing things the right way
Okay.
in multitude of ways. But absolutely, and it doesn't
So,
take long for people to see the fruits of that,
yeah,
right?
no shit.
Well, no,
Yeah,
no,
it does. It does.
like Justin, oh, fuck, shit, never mind. Can't talk about that, I guess. I had a guy a few weeks ago that struck up a conversation with somebody at a warehouse, and they said, you're a pretty good guy. We like the way your truck looks. You represent yourself well. We'd like to have you in here every weekend hauling our freight. That wouldn't have happened if you would have went in pajamas, smelling like a horse blanket, and truck looking like it had duct tape holding it together. So that driver and then all the drivers he told see the direct benefit of that.
Mhm.
We all, everybody does. We all do.
No, it's funny how it's so hard to explain to somebody. Like the respect.
But some people
I
will never have that mindset. They can only spend the day bitching about how a broker screwed them.
Yeah, that's just I don't know.
And that's
I
not being mean. That's the reality. It's
yeah.
are you capable? Some people don't have it in them to see things that way, or to act that way, or to you know. It's
Do you think
that's
it's a
where the difference is between I'm in this to grow my business and do something, or I just need to get that extra 100 miles in this week, because of whatever reason. Well, when the other, that guy's thinking, oh boy, I'm going to have a load to haul every weekend for the next X amount of years until I screw this up now, right?
Mhm.
I
And
just
to go,
go ahead, Justin.
I was going to say, and to go off of you said that driver, got approached by that company, and they, you're consistently running freight for them. They approached the driver with the intentions of asking if there could potentially be more of a longer term relation going on. And
Yeah, I already blew it. It was you.
it's okay.
I already screwed it up. Sorry.
But
It was
it's okay. At the end of the day, I think that there's a lot more carriers or customers that are looking for that than what people think. It
Yeah,
doesn't happen so often, but
without sharing too many details, there is. I make video. Sorry, I
that's
make
true.
video. I make a video talking about hauling subscriber freight. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's there are so many people that want to work with good people that all it takes is a conversation. Like something
Mhm.
so simple about looking professional can lead to thousands of dollars,
Mhm.
thousands of dollars
Yeah.
to where your business like thrives.
Well, it doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not always looking professional and having a clean truck. It's working towards a common goal. So like you have somebody that you work with kind of on a relationship basis that when other drivers need to do it, it can benefit them. And Justin did this thing here with this other person that other people can take part in. But then you guys hold each other to that standard and goal,
Mhm.
and it benefits everybody. Well, that's the pie in the sky dream of every trucking company, and you never get to that nirvana, right? You never. It's hard to
Yeah.
get there, and other people are working on that too, and um, towards that common goal. So that's
It's out
that's
there.
that's achieving the impossible right there, is to get people to understand and participate in that.
It's out there. Yeah.
Well,
Right
that's
place, right time, and having the right mindset and being open for opportunity.
Hmm.
Is what and it's worked. I mean, how many loads have you hauled for that customer now
Every
in
weekend,
in the last month, right?
yeah, except for this weekend. We had Christmas off.
But the relation is started. It's
Absolutely.
there,
Yep.
you know.
well,
And
yeah,
every
same
Wednesday
with
now we start talking Wednesday. Who do you got this weekend? Well,
yep.
it's
That's
this guy.
awesome. That's huge.
And
It
that
is.
that do you know mean like as a carrier, as somebody that's leased onto a carrier, knowing that another contractor was professional, that allows me the ability. Justin and I talked the other day about something, and I do believe if you're leased on to a smaller carrier, if you can have the mindset of building that carrier, if that makes sense, as a contractor, and your contractors are willing to, maybe this is a question for you, DIY, like when do you think it's okay for a contractor to talk to somebody like Justin has, or like I have?
That's just something you got to measure over time. Like some guys will never do it. Some guys will never get there. Um, and then some guys they're just ready for it. Chief Ray Heller says, so I need to find a better uniform instead of a tank top, Daisy Dukes, and a slide. I don't know. I'd keep the Daisy Dukes. Big fan of the Daisy Dukes. Does a hoodie that says "Do Epic Shit" count as a good work attire? It's as good as a 3-piece suit, is what it is. And you'd be surprised. It started a lot of conversations. They're like, "What does that mean?" And then I tell them, what's that's all about, and then it leads to more conversation. It's pretty. It's kind of funny, actually. I get pulled aside from time. The other day in McDonald's, I hardly ever go to McDonald's. A guy pulled me aside. He's like, "What is that?" And I told him. He's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I thought that outfit was your secondary stream of income. Yeah, the Daisy Dukes. Absolutely. No, but I couldn't imagine doing things any other way.
Mhm.
I never would have thought about doing it the way we do had you not, like, I don't want to use the word preach, but what you showed me. Do you understand
basically
what I'm saying?
it's more or less what I force you to do.
No,
Mhm.
far from.
Mm.
Because I did something different for a while and saw the difference and understood the value of what I was doing versus what I chose to do.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. But I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I got to get
All right.
to family's house for Christmas here. So everybody, thanks for coming in. Have a great holiday weekend. We'll be out
Make the
trucking
bed,
here.
Justin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Thanks
be
for
out.
having me. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we'll be out here
Yeah, take it
trucking
easy.
over the next couple days. So maybe do some live streams. Who else is going to be out here trucking? Let me know. We'll see. We'll see you
Bye,
there
guys.
maybe. Yeah, take it. Thanks for coming in. And what do you think? What odds on you starting a channel?
Where are we at on the poll?
You want to do? Oh yeah. Let's go back here. Poll says best YouTube truck. Oh no, 53% Fate Trucking, 49% Justin. Ooh, that hurts a
How
little
did the
bit.
how did those
50-50. Right now we're
how
50-50.
okay, I'm out.
There, I just ended it. So you tied.
All right.
And Fate Trucking tied with a non-existent channel.
Mm.
Mm.
Maybe a video a week. We'll start doing here. January 1st. Maybe we'll start something up. We'll see how we can help
We can do this.
people.
We can do this a few more times. I'm gonna be honest. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to learn to be way harder on freight trucking.
Mm. Mm.
There's no future out here in being nice to him.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. All right.
All
Thanks for
right.
coming in, man. We'll see y'all
Yep.
later, everybody. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for coming in. Have
Mer-
a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Bye, guys.